Are you considering a move to El Dorado Hills? Well, if so, this video right here is going to be one you're going to want to watch, because I'm going to give you the full 411 and break down what life is like in El Dorado Hills, from the neighborhoods to the median price point to the overall vibe. So let's get into it. Hi, this is Jacqueline Gage with the GAGE Group right here in Sacramento with eXp Realty. And if this is your first time on my channel, welcome. This is where we talk to you about Sacramento, give you the full scoop 411, break it down with the different neighborhoods and the outer lying areas of Sacramento. So don't forget, subscribe if that fits the bill, and tap that bell so you're notified when I do a new video. And I try to do a new video every week. Most of the time it does happen. All right, let's jump into it. All right, so first let's start by talking about where it's located. El Dorado Hills is right next to Folsom Lake and Folsom. It's about 22 miles from Sacramento. It's east of Sacramento, and that's going to be about a 40-minute commute by car. And it's 90 minutes to Tahoe. So you see why people love it. Right between Sacramento and Tahoe, you gotta have the best of both. It is in the foothills, so you have rolling, lush hills, beautiful views of the Sierra Nevada mountains, as well as looking down at the Sacramento Valley. So you have great views, great sunsets, and it's also luxury living at its finest. It is in El Dorado County. The population of El Dorado Hills is growing tremendously, especially right now during COVID. Right now, the population the last census was a little over 45,000. So I'm sure it's quite a bit more than that right now. All right, so I always like to do a fun trivia fact. So El Dorado Hills has more people living here who work in computers and math than 95% of other places in the US. So in other words, people are really smart who live in El Dorado Hills, a lot of brainiacs. So El Dorado Hills is consistently ranked as one of the top places to live. And one of the reasons for that is because it has a very high median income, one of the highest, followed by low poverty rates. So it's a perfect combination, and it's one of the most sought after places in Northern California to live. Especially right now, a ton of influx of people. Let's just go over some stats on El Dorado Hills just to warm you up. So the median household income is $131,000. The unemployment rate here is just over 4%. 53% of people have bachelor's degrees. 86% of people own their own home. The median age is 42. The poverty rate in El Dorado Hills is 4%, which is less than half the national average. So that, combined with a great income, people are flocking here. All right, so let's talk about the history of El Dorado Hills. So back in the day in 1848, gold was found not far from here in Coloma. But let's fast forward to the 60s, because that's when stuff really started happening in El Dorado Hills and when growth began occurring at a moderate level. In the 60s through the 90s, you had the original plan for El Dorado Hills. So the whole idea and concept behind the vision of El Dorado Hills was what they call a master planned community, broken up into villages, and they were all called different things. And that's how it still is today. You'll hear the word village all the time. And between these villages was open space, plenty of outdoor area for recreation, and it's still that way. It's rural, there's a lot of space for recreation, and that's one of the best things about it. You have lots of amenities, but you also have that rural country vibe. The style of housing in El Dorado Hills, it started in the 60s through the 90s, a lot of building, but then the most building in El Dorado Hills was in the 2000s up into the crash. Let's take a look at this graph and you'll see all the housing. So when you look at the graph, the 2000s through 2009 is when all the building occurred, most of it, and some in the 90s as well. Now, obviously, building's starting again because we don't have enough supply, and we're trying to keep up with it. But so because a lot of these homes were built in the 2000s, the style then was that Tuscan Mediterranean vibe. You'll see that throughout El Dorado Hills in the different communities. And they're known for single family, detached homes, really large homes with a ton of square footage. We're talking 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom plus more. A lot of them mostly 3,000 square feet and up. And all these communities and villages, as we say, are really clean, well established, all the modern day conveniences, but you still have that rural country feel, which is really nice, so the best of both. So let's talk about the cost of housing in El Dorado Hills, because I know that's what you're interested in. Well, it's some of the highest in the nation, but when you compare it to California as a whole, there's a lot more expensive places than El Dorado Hills to live, especially when you're comparing it to Southern California and the Bay Area, where a lot of people are coming from. And when they look at El Dorado Hills, they see a lot of bang for your buck, because you get a big house, under $1 million, when you can't get much for $1 million in either of those places. All right, so let's talk about the cost of living index, because this puts it in perspective how expensive El Dorado Hills is compared to the rest of the nation. So cost of living index is simply how much it takes to live for the basic bare necessities. 100 is our national average. And so in El Dorado Hills, the cost of living is going to be 166 on the index. And then you'll see California is 149. So El Dorado Hills higher than the nation, as well as higher than a lot of parts in California. It definitely is a very affluent area to live. As you can see in the other categories, definitely more expensive in almost every category. The median home cost, however, in this graph is going to be wrong. I'm going to talk to you about that. All right, so now let's jump into the cost of housing, because I know that's what you really want to know, and that really helps people determine if it's the right spot for them. So the average home right now in El Dorado Hills is around $710,000, and that is going to be, higher than the national average and higher than California. But as I said, definitely a lot more bang for your buck than in those major cities. So I want to put things in perspective and show you pricing and what you can get. So for $710,000, a house is going to look like this. This is a 4.3, 2,900 square feet, built in the 90s. So a nice house, not fully upgraded to a lot of today's standards when it comes to finishes, but a nice house with a lot of square footage. And that is what 710 looks like. All right, so 710 is gonna be your average, but let's talk about the low and the high so you can get the full spectrum. The low is gonna be 445, and it's gonna be a home that looks like this. You can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,104 square feet. This home was built in the 60s, really nice, charming home, updated. Definitely not as big as the other ones. It's definitely smaller comparing it to the majority of homes in El Dorado Hills. And then the high, you have homes that go all the way up to $3 million was our highest comp thus far. And this is what $3 million gets you. It is a 5-bedroom, 8-bath, 7,500 square feet. Take a look at these pictures. So really an awesome, spectacular pad. Once again, a lot of bang for your buck comparing it to the bigger cities in California. And just overall, homes have gone up 10% over the past year, and Zillow actually predicts they'll go up another 11.6 in the next year. So property value on the rise. I mean, El Dorado Hills is appreciated tremendously along with other areas in Sacramento, because if you didn't hear, secondary cities are on fire right now. People want space, they want more bang for your buck, and they can work from wherever. So the vibe of El Dorado Hills is just a really nice one. Luxury living at its finest. You get a lot of home. It's very clean. You are not going to see any homeless in El Dorado Hills like you would in Sacramento proper. The streets will not have potholes. You will have nice, smooth streets, no trash on the streets. So it's a really clean environment that people like, low crime rates, gated communities, and all the amenities within your fingertips. So those are some of the reasons why people like El Dorado Hills. And if you want luxury living, if you like to golf, if you like to be close to Tahoe, those are all other reasons why El Dorado Hills would be a great fit for you. Now let's talk about renting in El Dorado Hills. So let's look at the averages. So just as housing was, El Dorado Hills is going to be more expensive than national average, as well as California, as well as Sacramento. So definitely more expensive than El Dorado Hills overall. The studio, as you can see here, looking at the graph, is $1,280. Just for a small studio. The 1-bedroom is going to go for $1,450. Of course, things go for a lot higher. This is just the starter price. So these are all really important things to consider when making a move to El Dorado Hills. Obviously, the cost of living is the thing that people have to consider the most when choosing a place to live. All right, so let's talk about what people do for work in El Dorado Hills to get that six-figure income. So a lot of people actually telecommute, work from home, commute from the Bay Area, and that number, currently the stats I have for that are 13%, but that was before COVID. So now I can only imagine that number's gone up tremendously. There's a lot of entrepreneurs in El Dorado Hills. There's also a lot of people who work in Sacramento proper. So El Dorado Hills doesn't have a huge industry per se to generate that type of income. So you have a lot of influx from people just working from home. It's a new wave and we're gonna see more of it. And why not move somewhere where you can get a lot more bang for your buck? That's my saying a lot, so you'll hear me say that. But also, you know, a great quality of life, and it hits a lot of nails on the head with all the things that El Dorado Hills has to offer. So one major reason people love El Dorado Hills is because it is a great place to raise a family for various reasons. But one of them is they have great schools, there's low crime, you have, you know, bigger houses out there, lots of space, a lot of recreation for kids to do things, especially that's really important now with COVID. People want more space. There's a lot of parks, trails, recreational activities in general. The schools in El Dorado Hills are known to be exceptionally good. All right, so let's just go over a few El Dorado school stats. So high school grade rates, 95%. That is 15% higher than the US average. School test scores, 66%. That's 34% higher than the US average. Student-teacher ratio is 22:1, 35% higher than the US average. If you want more information on a specific school or, you know, just to see the stars on every school, go to greatschools.org, a lot of great information, and you'll find it really helpful. There are a ton of things to do in El Dorado Hills, a lot of recreational activities. Everything is at your disposal, especially, you know, where it's located. There are so many outdoor activities, especially because it's right next to Folsom Lake. There's a ton of water sports, jet skiing, boating, fishing, you name it, they have it. Paddle boarding. In the rolling hills, there's a lot of hikers, mountain bikers. If you're a golfer, great golf club, Serrano, check it out. It also has a community around it, which we'll get into, but a beautiful private golf club. Also, it's a great place to camp. There is a lot of wine country in El Dorado County. There are 71 wineries, so if you're a wino, this is a great spot for you. One winery that you should check out is the Boger Winery. It's in Placerville. They have some great wines, won at the state fair for one of the best wines. Also, they're known for their Barbera, so put it on your bucket list of things to do if you go to El Dorado Hills. Another great place is the El Dorado Hills Town Center. This is kind of the hub of El Dorado Hills. It's a great gathering spot for the community. They offer everything. It's a really huge outdoor shopping plaza. They have movie theaters, grocery stores, boutiques, restaurants, bars. So if you want some activity, it's a great place to go. Also, you know, I always tell people when they're looking for somewhere to live, go on the weekends when everyone's out and about, go to the community spots, such as like the El Dorado Hills Town Center, so you can get a feel for the community and the people and see if it's the right spot for you. All right, guys, so let's talk about the top neighborhoods in El Dorado Hills. So, you know, a lot of development started in the 60s, so you have some of your older villages. Then a lot of the builds were in the 2000s, so you have a lot of housing in the 2000s. And then you also are going to have your villages that are going to be the newer builds that are just being built today. So depending on what aesthetic you like, there is something for you. First, let's get into Serrano. It is a beautiful gated community with a country club. It's a beautiful golf course. So if you're a golfer like me, it's a great course you want to check out, and it can just, you know, give you that whole luxury lifestyle where you don't have to travel far, just down the street, go play golfing, have lunch. You know, all your amenities are at the town center. So a really easy lifestyle and all the amenities within your fingertips. So that's really nice, the convenience of it all. Serrano has a lot of villages. One of their premier villages is going to be at Serrano North. These are going to be custom, semi-custom homes. and they're surrounded by the golf course. You know, it's a beautiful neighborhood. You have great views. Homes are going to go in the price point between $800,000 to $1 million. So definitely, if you want that whole luxury lifestyle, Serrano is a place to check out. Another community that you're going to want to check out is Blackstone. If you want something new, this is one of the newer communities. It's a huge community. It's 990 acres, massive planned community, and it's on the south side of Dorado Hills. This community offers different styles of homes, ranging from tract homes to semi-custom, as well as adult communities, which are great. You know, a lot of retirees in Dorado Hills, especially with the golfing and everything nearby. And they also have great amenities like a clubhouse that has so many things to do. They have a library, pool tables, party rooms, swimming pools, and a health club. Pricing here is going to be $500,000 all the way to $1 million, and definitely a newer build. So if you want new, this would be one to check out. Another neighborhood that should be on your list to check out is Promontory. This is a newer neighborhood as well. If you are into views, you're going to want to check out this. Put it on your list because it has beautiful views of Folsom Lake, also the Sierra Nevada mountains. If you're looking for great schools, modern parks, outdoor activities, and just an overall luxurious lifestyle, this is the spot for you. And real estate prices are going to start at around $700,000 all the way up to $1 million. Another neighborhood you're going to want to add to your list is Ridgeview. This is one of the older neighborhoods in Dorado Hills, but it's actually known for its spectacular views of the Folsom Lake as well as the Sacramento Valley. So if you're into that, add it to the list. In the last decade, there's been more semi-custom and custom homes built in this area. It has access to great shopping centers. The price point of homes is going to be $600,000 to around $900,000, and it's just a great overall neighborhood. Another neighborhood is the Summit and Waterford. These are developed back in the 80s, and it's part of the Lake Forest Village. These villages are close proximity to Folsom Lake, right next to really great schools like Lake Forest Elementary, Marina Middle School. The attractiveness in this area is that they're custom homes on, rolling streets with really mature trees, no mellow roofs. The Summit is a gated community, has great views of the Folsom Lake, has a park, tennis courts, lots of amenities. Homes there are going to be $800,000 to $1 million. Then Waterford is not a gated community. They do have HOAs. The village also features, a neighborhood park, play structure, barbecue. Homes are going to go from $600,000 to $1 million, so a little less. These are great spots to check out, and definitely have not the 2000 aesthetic, not as much Tuscan, more custom. So if you're into that, this would be a great spot, and also can get some good views. And the last subdivisions I'm going to list are Highland Hills and Sterling Shire. These were built in the 80s as well. They are custom homes, really large lots, no mellow roofs, and low HOAs in the Sterling Shire, and none in Highland Hills, so that's good. And the homes are going to vary from $700,000 to $1 million. In Dorado Hills, you're going to want to ask about HOA and mellow roofs, because those are going to add to your mortgage payment, and really important to know. And just a few more subdivisions to check out that I'm not going to get into, but you might want to add to your list are going to be South Point, Highland View, Francisco Oaks, and Marina Woods. All right, guys, so after all this information, I'm sure you can see why people just love Dorado Hills. That luxury living at its finest, a ton of recreational activities, great schools, low crime rates. What else could you ask for? So, if you have any questions on Dorado Hills or considering a move to Sacramento, don't forget, reach out. Don't forget, subscribe right down below, because I do a new video every week and give you a lot of great information. Also, don't go anywhere, because I'm going to attach a video about Folsom, California. I think it would be perfect if you are still, trying to decide where to live. Folsom could be a great option for you. All right, until next time.